Good evening. The effort to deal with all the snow from Sunday's record-breaking storm continues tonight. City officials say they've entered phase 2 of the cleanup.
Moving all the snow out of streets and sidewalks, just part of the plan to deal with everything left behind by the storm. CTV's Allison Hurst has been monitoring the cleanup and joins us live with more. Allison.
Nathan, we've seen crews out all day today, everything from the large equipment on some narrow streets that's actually trucking the snow out of the area and to the city's dump sites, to crews working on sidewalks trying to fix the problems there. A sound many have been waiting to hear. Snow removal teams rolling down the street.
Here they are taking the snowbanks away, and very happy.
25 crews are working across the city, removing snow from hospitals, bridges, and narrow residential streets.
Trying to get in and out of the driveway, like the plow will push it all, and it just fills in the driveway. It's heavy stuff, so it's a challenge.
The snow is caught by a dump truck and taken to one of 5 sites across the city. The truck adds it to a growing mound. Each of these sites can hold up to 50,000 tons of snow. It's then scooped up and put in a melter, which can handle 36,000 tons a day.
Our dump sites are running at full capacity. Snow melters, like the one behind me, are operating continuously.
No parking signs are being planted on streets, giving a 24-hour window, warning residents the large equipment is coming.
We continue to do some, what people might say are larger roads, but we are starting to focus on those very narrow local streets, because those folks have no real options. There's not a lot we can do with plowing.
Narrow streets like this one are supposed to be 2 ways, but one driver was forced to turn around, taking several attempts because someone else was coming towards them and there was nowhere to go.
It's bad. And the big trouble is, I guess on the Danforth, people get sort of caught, like when they're walking, get caught on the road, and that causes a few problems too. So.
City Manager Paul Johnson says they're getting anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 311 calls daily. But what's ramping up is the service requests about sidewalks.
We realize that sidewalks have become an issue where we're just not doing enough, and we need to improve.
Cheryl Ward has found it very hard getting around on foot.
It's a hazard, to tell you the truth. It's very difficult because you're sliding all over the place and you can't get over the humps.
City staff say they're on it, with sidewalk plows continuing to tackle areas in need of a cleanup. The city's manager tells us that they do have additional inspectors going around the city trying to identify any problem locations on sidewalks or roads and making sure crews are aware to send them there to fix those. And they are also trying to locate at least 2 more dump sites to bring all of that snow. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. If you've driven down a side street or tried to walk along a sidewalk, you might be questioning just how well the city's response has been going.
Residents have been watching the snow removal efforts closely after the city struggled to deal with a major storm last year. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us live tonight. And Beth, you've been speaking with people about how they feel this cleanup is going.
That's right, Michelle. No one's debating we got a lot of snow or that it's a big job to clean up. Most people we spoke with today say the city seems to be doing better than they did last year, but there are trouble spots. For James, it's trying in a wheelchair, trudging to the grocery store. He's not too happy with the city's snow clearing efforts.
Yeah, because this is okay here, but look at up there, so it's not done properly. It's hard on apparatus as well, because it drains the power out faster.
This is day 3 since the mega dump, and plows have been making progress. But snow still spills out on some streets, covering up most of the lane, or turning 2-way streets into seemingly 1-way streets.
I think that maybe if the plows could get out a little earlier, it would be great.
It's creating some tricky conditions for this Wheel-Trans driver.
The side streets are horrible. The main streets aren't that bad, but the side streets on the sidewalks are really bad.
There are covered sidewalks that still need clearing. Outside this school near Broadview and Dundas, and in a lot of places. Be ready to tread carefully. It can be slippery. With a mound of snow this high, pedestrians and drivers need to be extra careful. If you're on foot, you need to make sure there isn't a vehicle coming around the corner. And if you're a motorist, you need to make sure you can really see around the pile before heading out.
Okay, so I'm wearing my gaiters, and so when I step into deep snow, it doesn't really affect my pants or anything. It keeps the snow off. And then I have my cleats.
This postal worker is prepared for the ice and snow, but she says navigating the streets has been challenging. As for how the city has responded,
I've seen some of the sidewalks clear, so I think they are really working hard and trying. And we have to be patient.
All over the city, street after street, there are big mounds of snow from the plows. Some feel the big cleanup underway deserves praise.
It's a tough job, but I think they're doing great. I give the city a lot of applause.
But no one we found was ready to give the city a 10 out of 10.
Let's say maybe a 6.
Give them an 8.
I would give them an 8.5.
I'd give them a 4. That's about it.
James never made it to the store. The path ahead was too problematic, and so he was forced to turn around. And so people are going to need a little more patience over the next few days until all this snow is cleaned up. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Also tonight, did you feel it? It doesn't happen often in these parts, but a small earthquake struck southern Ontario last night. We'll tell you where and just how far it was felt.
But first, to check on the forecast, here's a live shot of the city. Temperatures plunging once again tonight, so as usual, bundle up if you're heading outside. And this cold trend sticking around for a few more days. How long? Jessica Smith is here with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Jess.
Hey, we round out the month of January in this deep freeze, Nathan. So layer up accordingly over the next few days. Get out and enjoy the winter weather, but you have to make sure you're doing it safely. As far as active weather goes, the bulk of it staying in towards Goderich, Owen Sound, Perry Sound through Barrie and a lot of cottage country. We've seen a few light flurries off and on throughout the day thanks to that lake effect snow machine, but the bulk of the really heavy stuff staying out of our way, but still bringing a decent amount of snow again to those communities. So if you're driving anywhere there or down towards Niagara or out through Kingston, keep that in mind as road conditions likely pretty treacherous in some of those areas. It is cold. No surprise there. It is frigid. It is crisp. It is icy. Nothing we aren't used to, but you have to plan accordingly when it comes to spending time outside, whether you commute or whether you are walking somewhere. Now, temperature-wise, we're at -9 through the islands, -11 through Pearson, but that low tonight, -15. We should be at -10, but you factor in the wind chill and we're in that -20 range. And it only gets colder into the day tomorrow. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast and the good news when we return to seasonal. But that's all coming up in a few minutes. Right now, it's back over to Nathan and Michelle.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Well, if you thought you felt the earth move last night, you weren't wrong.
A small earthquake could be felt across the area. Its epicenter just outside of Orillia in Brecken.
Felt like a truck hitting the house. Is what it felt like.
I felt the house shake, the roof and everything.
It shook for maybe a couple of seconds. It was enough to, as I said, get us all out of bed.
The 3.7 magnitude quake hit just before 11 last night. Officials with Natural Resources Canada say this was not a frost quake, not uncommon during significant cold events, but an earthquake resulting from the rupture of a fault. No damage or injuries were reported. The quake could be felt from Kingston all the way to St. Catharines.
Next, a follow-up to a story CTV News first brought you last night about a child and 2 women attacked by a pair of dogs in Oshawa.
Tonight, another woman has come forward saying those same dogs attacked her last year, and she's wondering why local officials didn't do more to prevent these latest attacks. CTV's Janice Golding has more.
It's faint, but as you can see, I still have a scar, this line that comes right down here.
Janice Bell shows us a scar left behind after she was attacked by 2 dogs.
Out of the corner of my eye, I could see a dog charging at me. I realized very quickly that there was a second dog that was following that first dog, and they both jumped on me.
Bell says she was walking her own pet Coco on June 29th when 2 dogs came running.
They actually scratched me quite significantly. I had blood dripping down my leg.
Dogs this Oshawa woman says she recognized from a CTV News story.
Riley looks down and there's blood pouring from her face and all over her arms, and she just starts screaming.
Yesterday, we reported a 4-year-old girl and 2 women who live on Bell Street had been mauled on January 13th.
And all I can think is, they're going to rip us apart. Like, we're both going to die.
Police investigated, and on January 20th, an Oshawa bylaw officer issued an order requiring the 2 American bulldogs be muzzled and leashed unless inside their owner's home. Not good enough, says Bell.
It makes me very angry, but I don't believe that these people should be allowed to have animals if they're not taking care of them.
For its part, the City of Oshawa says Bylaw Services is taking the reported incident very seriously and is following our investigative procedures. We currently have active enforcement in progress.
This is where they got me.
Meanwhile, Bell filed her own complaint with Oshawa Animal Services today. Still, she says she's feeling some measure of guilt.
Did not sleep well. I wish that I had been able to report it sooner. It could have prevented this little girl from being attacked and being traumatized.
And she's hoping if others in the community have stories like hers to share, they too will approach authorities to help keep the neighborhood safer. Janice Golding, CTV News.
York police have identified the victim of a deadly daytime shooting in Vaughan. 65-year-old Sergio Lopez was gunned down Monday afternoon in a commercial plaza near Winges and Roundtree Dairy Road. As police were responding to that scene, a call came in for a black SUV on fire near Kipling and Woodbridge Avenue. Investigators say the SUV matched the description of a suspect vehicle that fled following the shooting, but no one was inside at the time. Police believe the shooting was targeted and are asking anyone with information to come forward.
One person is fighting for their life following a major crash on the 410 in Brampton this morning. This crash happened in the northbound lanes of the 410 at Clark Boulevard around 2:30 in the morning. Police say two vehicles collided. And following the crash, the people in one of the cars left their vehicle and the driver was hit by a third vehicle.
There's three occupants in that blue vehicle. The driver was standing outside of his vehicle, and I am told that he was pinned between the approaching vehicle and his stopped vehicle on the highway while he was outside of his vehicle, resulting in those critical injuries. The two other occupants, one was injured slightly or relatively minor. The other person was not injured. I'm not sure what the circumstances were on that, either as a result of the original collision or of the secondary collision as the vehicles were getting thrown around. And then the two occupants in that white third vehicle that approached, all taken to hospital, mostly as a precaution.
Police say a total of 5 people were injured as a result of this crash. However, all of the other injuries are considered minor. The cause of the initial crash remains under investigation.
2 people have been injured in a crash involving a streetcar. It happened around 4 in the morning on Queen, just west of Spadina. Both victims were taken to hospital with minor injuries. Roads in the area were closed for the investigation, but have since reopened. Police are still looking into the cause of the crash.
A group of cyclists is going before the province's highest court to defend their challenge of the Ford government's plan to rip out 3 major bike lanes. The cyclists argue the province's plan to remove the bike lanes is a risk to their safety in violation of the charter. The government appealed and argued the lower court ruling effectively creates a right to the permanent maintenance of bike lanes. Last year, a judge found the plan to take out bike lanes on Bloor-Yonge and University was a risk to cyclists and was made without proof it would actually reduce congestion. Still ahead, turns out Toronto was the place to be in 2025. Visitors came by the millions, making it a record-breaking year for tourism. We'll tell you how many paid a visit and how much they spent in our fair city.
But first, the province has announced it's placing the Peel District School Board under supervision while warning the York Catholic District School Board it could be next. Education Minister Paul Calandra said the province is intervening to stop what it calls mismanagement and disruption that he says is negatively impacting students and teachers. The province also expressed concerns that the board has run deficits for 5 straight years. Peel has now been given 14 days to respond to the province's concerns, after which the minister will decide whether the supervision will continue.
The Ford government has announced a new transmission line to electrify Northern Ontario and help unlock the mineral-rich Ring of Fire.
Ontario is taking action today. Especially in light of President Trump's economic assault on our country, it's time to build. And so today I'm proud to announce that Ontario is giving the green light to not only build, but to accelerate the Greenstone transmission line.
The new transmission line will also increase electrical capacity, allowing us to move forward with more housing, business development, and community projects with confidence.
The province says the 230-kilometer Greenstone project will create more than 7,000 jobs, support the development of the mining sector, and reshore Ontario's domestic supply chain. Hydro One is set to lead the project following consultations with 7 First Nations who will own 50% of the transmission line. The province says the Greenstone transmission line will be completed by the year 2032. In its first decision of the year, the Bank of Canada held its key interest rate steady today.
But as CTV's Scott Hurst explains, the future projections are murky, with a lot riding on decisions coming from the White House.
Uncertainty over U.S. trade policy and a renewed threat of tariffs continue to loom large over decisions by Canada's central bank. Firstly, the bank is keeping its benchmark interest rate steady at 2.25%. This was widely anticipated by economists, with the central bank saying economic output has remained largely in line with its recent projections despite U.S. tariffs.
There wasn't really a compelling reason either way, especially when you take into account that inflation, it seems kind of anchored in the Bank of Canada's target range right now.
But really, it is our relationship with the U.S. that continues to fuel a whole lot of uncertainty. According to the Bank of Canada, the economy is adjusting to the trade shock from our southern neighbors so far, and it is expecting the economy to grow modestly in the near term. However, U.S. trade restrictions, tariffs, and questions about the outcome of the upcoming review of the North American Free Trade Pact, known as CUSMA, continue to disrupt growth north of the border and create havoc in trying to predict the future impact on Canadians.
Uncertainty around our forecast is heightened. The range of possible outcomes is wider than usual. U.S. trade policy remains unpredictable, and geopolitical risks are elevated.
According to a new survey out today from the Angus Reid Institute, Canadians as a whole, too, appear on edge with what's coming out of the White House. Anxiety about the Canada-U.S. relationship has 4 in 5 respondents worried about the year ahead. So amidst all the trade uncertainty and a hazy outlook for the Canadian economy, many eyes will now turn to the Bank of Canada's next interest rate announcement coming in mid-March. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
High-stakes trade negotiations with the Trump administration are coming up. And with that in mind, Canada's premiers are huddling in the nation's capital for 2 days of talks. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the details.
It's going to be an exciting couple days.
The gathering of Canada's 13 premiers, a sign of solidarity, as trade tensions thrust Canada-U.S. relations into a new, more unpredictable chapter.
We talk about Canada true north, strong and free. Let us not allow other people to dictate to us how we govern.
We know President Trump's rules. There are no rules with him. So we need to focus on what we can do.
The premiers, even those who sometimes don't get along, sending a message of Team Canada unity.
We don't always agree on everything, but I think we've got a really solid base to start on.
The meeting comes days after the U.S. president threatened massive tariffs on Canadian imports, following the Prime Minister's speech in Davos declaring the old rules-based order dead.
If we are going to determine our destiny and become that leader in that middle power space, it is going to take us making those tough decisions, having those discussions like we'll have today on how we are going to allow that investment to flow, allow those industries that are creating wealth to expand.
One of the major topics on the agenda, provincial and territorial priorities for the upcoming CUSMA negotiations.
In any negotiation, there's on both sides, there's some people that are kind of out front with more bluster. We're certainly seeing that, particularly out of the United States right now, but I'm hopeful that below that, there are real and significant discussions happening and taking place, and I'm looking forward to kind of hearing from the Prime Minister on the status of those.
Discussions, the Prime Minister said today, are going well.
Relations are good. We have good conversations, good back and forth. There's a lot of work to be done for the review of CUSMA.
But that apparent optimism was met today by a threat from the U.S. administration.
I would not pick a fight going into USMCA to score some cheap political points. Either you are working for your own political career or you're working for the Canadian people.
Tonight, the premiers will sit down with the Prime Minister for a working dinner. The main meetings will take place all day tomorrow. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
2 sources have told CTV News that Ottawa and South Korea are in talks to bring auto manufacturing to Canada. It's included in a memorandum of understanding the Carney government signed with representatives of South Korea in Ottawa yesterday. The MOU calls for closer industrial cooperation on the future of mobility. The talks are in the early stages and involve the possibility of manufacturing vehicles or auto parts and batteries. During a Canada-Korea Auto Forum in Toronto Monday, several Canadian auto executives pitched Hyundai about moving some production to Canada.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister told a gathering in Ottawa today that Russia poses a clear threat in the Arctic.
We saw that Russian infrastructure was moving further and further north towards the Arctic Circle. We have seen dual-use infrastructure in those geographical regions. And the reality, indeed since 2022, has direct implications for Canada's security, for North American defense, and for the stability of the Arctic region itself.
Anita Anand reaffirmed the government's commitment to increase our presence in the region during her keynote address to the Nordic Canadian Arctic Symposium. She added the situation concerning Denmark and Greenland has highlighted the Arctic is increasingly the front line of strategic competition. Meantime, the national organization representing Inuit communities is calling for a larger role in Canada's Arctic defense surge.
Meanwhile, in Washington, America's top diplomat told a congressional committee that NATO needs to be reimagined. Not its purpose, but its capabilities and obligations.
One of the things we've explained to our allies in NATO is the United States is not simply focused on Europe. We also have defense needs in the Western Hemisphere. We have defense needs in the Indo-Pacific, and it will require us. We may be the richest country in the world, but we don't have unlimited resources.
Marco Rubio repeated demands by U.S. President Donald Trump that other alliance countries contribute more to defense spending. But the secretary told the Senate Foreign Relations Committee he believes America's alliances in NATO will eventually work out.
For the first time, a woman will lead the Church of England. Sarah Mullally was officially confirmed as the Archbishop of Canterbury during a ceremony in St. Paul's Cathedral today. The former Bishop of London is now the spiritual leader of millions of Anglicans around the world. Her appointment was announced almost 4 months ago. Mullally replaces former Archbishop Justin Welby, who announced his resignation in 2024. The church ordained its first female priest back in 1994 and its first female bishop in 2015.
Coming up, they call themselves the Malvern Mall Walkers. We catch up with a group of grandmas who are getting more than just their steps in.
And I'm Pat Foran, coming up on Consumer Alert. If you're planning to sell a used car on your own, there's a new scam you need to know about. Criminals are spraying oil under the hood so your car will start smoking, and you think you have engine trouble. We have video of the scam as it unfolds. All of that story, that's just ahead.
Yes, it's cold, but if you have the right layers, getting out for a skate, not a bad idea on one of the many free city rinks around the city, but it is going to be fresh as we head throughout the evening, so layers are going to be essential. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including a return to more seasonal weather. All those details coming up after the break.
If you have a used car to sell, you can trade it in at a dealership, but you'll get a lot more for it if you sell it privately yourself.
If you plan to do that, you should know there's a new scam involving criminals tampering with your vehicle to make you think it has serious problems. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Well, thanks, Nathan and Michelle. It's known as the dirty oil scam, and it involves fraudsters spraying oil on your engine and up your tailpipe. When they start your car, there are clouds of smoke, and they try to convince you the engine has blown and then make you a lowball offer.
I feel violated.
Mark Rafi and Carol Crawford of Paris, Ontario, were selling their 2016 Hyundai Santa Fe. They listed it for $7,000 on Facebook Marketplace. Two people came at night to see the vehicle. One man wanted to inspect the trunk.
And he was looking underneath the mats and looking for the spare tire and had me completely occupied. So I was not aware of what the other person was doing, who had gone around to the car, opened up the hood.
It's believed after opening the hood, the man sprayed oil throughout the engine compartment. When the potential buyer started to go for a test drive, he stopped and backed into the driveway.
The other gentleman who was hanging around the driveway squatted down and sprayed or inserted something liquid into the tailpipe.
After a short drive, they returned, and smoke was pouring off the engine and out of the exhaust.
There's all this white smoke coming out, and the other guy who was in the driveway comes running around and says, look, he says, there's oil everywhere.
Rafi says the two men told him the engine had blown and the car was worthless.
It was like, oh my gosh, something must have blown because there's oil everywhere.
He was asking $7,000 for the SUV, but was convinced to take $1,000 just to get rid of it. The two men paid in cash, took an extra set of tires and left. Rafi told his wife what happened. That's when they checked their security video.
We saw everything. I said, we've been scammed. I said, this is a scam.
This is a case of seller beware.
An auto fraud investigator says criminals will put oil on the engine and in the tailpipe to make the car smoke and appear to have serious mechanical problems.
They really presented a convincing story to the owner that his car basically has blown the engine.
Rafi is upset he was scammed out of $6,000 and that he trusted the two men.
To be taken like this, I don't know how somebody sleeps at night after doing this.
And most private car sales happen without issues, but if you feel uncomfortable during a sale and the buyer is pushy or something doesn't seem right, cancel the sale and say you changed your mind. If they won't leave, call the police. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, you know what doesn't feel right? How cold it's been. We need a break from this. And tomorrow night, it's going to get really cold, as if it's not cold enough.
I know, another weather plunge. Normally, you look ahead at the forecast, and a couple of days later, it just seems like there's no end in sight. And you're telling me -6 is something to look forward to?
It is going to be something you're going to be so happy to see. Heading into tomorrow night, the wind chills get into that -30 range. I thought I left that alone and when I left Saskatchewan, but it is following us here. And this cold air, part of that polar vortex that impacts the prairies and us here in Ontario. There is good news, but we have to get through the bulk of the week first. Weather is going to be one of those nights where you want to be outside or not, you're going to need your layers. And for those folks, they were windsurfing or snow surfing, I suppose, at Downsview Park. Listen, do what you got to do to get active in this really wintry, Arctic, chilly, cutting, icebox type of weather. But make sure you're layered up accordingly. They have helmets on, they've got all their gear. And they're making the most of winter. It's no surprise, right, that we are dealing with this cold weather, but it is going to stick with us and get really, really fresh as we head in towards our evening tomorrow. So factor that into your plans. Yes, get out and enjoy the wintry weather, but you have to do it safely. Temperature-wise, right now, -11, feeling like -17, and those wind chill values are wicked no matter where you go throughout the entire province. Tonight, we see kind of a westerly wind become northwesterly, adding even more cold as we head through the rest of our night and into the day tomorrow. We should be at -10. We'll sit at -15 this evening with wind chill values right across southern Ontario in that -20 range. Tomorrow, beautiful sunshine, but it is going to be frigid. We're looking at -12, feeling like -20. For our friends out towards cottage country, they're still dealing with lake effect snow. No real change there thanks to a trough that's kind of parked itself from really Lake Huron all the way across to Lake Ontario, impacting Niagara, Kingston, and of course our communities through Goderich, Barrie, and Parry Sound. As we head through the rest of our evening, not much in the way of active weather here in the GTA, but we all get a touch of the cold air. So that's the one thing we all have in common as we head through the rest of our night tonight and into the day tomorrow. The bulk of the snow, once again, unfortunately, no real relief as we head through this evening for our friends along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. For the GTA, it's just cloudy and very cool through the overnight hours. Beautiful sunshine tomorrow, but heading off to work, to school, if you're commuting, whether you drive or take transit, extra layer is really a good idea, and give yourself some extra time in case there are delays due to the absolute frigid weather. As we head in towards the afternoon and evening, no real change. It is just cold, and that's it. As we head through your overnight, it gets into that wind chill kind of range into the -30s, which frostbite can happen within 5 to 10 minutes. So just be careful and check on the more vulnerable people in your life. As we head into the weekend, there is some relief on the way, but we have to get there first. And all this cold air is going to push down over us before we get to start to retreat just a little bit. But we have to get through at least today, tomorrow, and Friday first. We are well below seasonal. Our daytime high tomorrow will be around -12. It'll feel into the -20s. Overnight, -22, feeling closer to -32. Dangerously cold. As we head in towards your Friday, it's a very slow but steady I think I can kind of forecast, but we get a little better each day, but still really chilly through Friday. But That's a whole lot of sunshine. It's not warm, but it's sunshine nonetheless. As we head in towards the end of the weekend, we get towards a more seasonal point. The closest we're really going to be is as we head through Monday next week. We welcome in February. It's going to get a little bit better, and then we start to return to a cooler overnight low for your Tuesday night, and that sticks around for your Wednesday with another chance of flurries. But overall, we are going to get there, I promise. We just have to get through the next couple of days. Hopefully this helps you plan. Michelle, I'll send things back to you.
Thank you, Jessica. Also tonight, the name might be tough to swallow, but so-called poop pills have researchers believing they may one day shape the future of cancer therapy. We'll explain.
The city saw a record number of visitors in 2025, according to a new report from Destination Toronto.
The data shows Canadians and international travelers from outside the U.S. made up the majority of visitors to our city. CTV's Rahim Ladani has the details.
Even on a cold, wintry day, the city of Toronto is a destination hotspot.
Where are you from?
I'm from Korea.
I'm basically from Nova Scotia. I'm studying there.
We are from Australia.
Toronto tourism is looking to build off a banner 2025. Last year, more than 28 million people visited the city, spending over $9 billion. From the Toronto Blue Jays World Series run to the Toronto International Film Festival, this was the highest tourism generating year in Toronto's history.
Especially in this era of a lot of volatility. A lot of export sectors are really struggling right now, but tourism is proving to be a very resilient sector.
Domestic tourism was also up. As trade tensions continued throughout the year, fewer Canadians were crossing south of the border. That led to a 3% hike in interprovincial travel, equaling 25 million visitors.
South Surrey, which is just south of Vancouver, near the Canada-US border.
This boys basketball team are visiting from the West Coast and just wanted to throw snowballs and take in iconic landmarks.
This square, it's iconic in Canadian architecture, but also the Toronto sign. So it's a great spot to come and take photos and build some memories.
But it wasn't just fellow Canadians coming into the city. International travelers were the fastest growing segment last year, jumping 8%. That's 1.4 million visitors. Take this young lady from Brazil, for example.
It's my first time seeing snow, actually. So it has been a challenge, but it has been great.
And this gentleman from Australia.
First time to Toronto. I like the path. It's quite interesting as well, the end of the city.
Looking ahead to 2026, the FIFA World Cup will showcase the city to a whole new audience worldwide, and not just those who come to watch a game.
That's 1 billion people around the world seeing Toronto in mid-June. City will look great, the energized. That's commercial time you just can't buy.
The hope is there will also be a ripple effect, intriguing visitors to other communities like Niagara, Muskoka, and Ottawa, boosting tourism for years to come. Rahim Ladani, CTV News.
Researchers in London, Ontario are using so-called poop pills to help improve results for advanced cancer patients.
Our health reporter Pauline Chan has the story.
They call it fecal microbiota transplants, or FMT, also commonly known as poop pills.
It was the first time in the world anybody actually used healthy donor FMT in kidney cancer patients.
Blue capsules containing the diverse gut bacteria of healthy donors.
On average, we have to screen 43 people to get a person who passes the screen.
Saman Maleki says the gut is actually the largest immune organ in the body.
The drugs that we are giving kidney cancer patients are immunotherapy drugs. These drugs work through activating the immune system.
But there are side effects.
They can activate an immune response against the lining of our gut, and the patients can experience severe diarrhea or colitis. And sometimes that can be actually life-threatening.
Researchers at London Health Sciences combined FMT with immunotherapy for 20 patients with stage 4 kidney cancer, and they found that not only did response to the immunotherapy improve, those potentially life-threatening side effects were almost gone.
So we are dealing with a combination treatment that is safe. It can improve response, but also it can reduce toxicity and improve your quality of life as a patient.
Not only did it help kidney cancer patients, a second study out of Montreal looked at other cancers.
From the lung cancer study, we showed that the response rate to immunotherapy went from about 40% to 80%. And in melanoma, It went from about 55% to 75%.
FMT pioneer Dr. Mike Silverman says it's not just one type of gut bacteria needed, but a whole ecosystem. And they can even personalize the poop pills.
For patients who are on certain types of cancer drugs and other people who donate for people who are on different drugs. So it's personalized medicine.
And Dr. Silverman says if you're in the London area,
let us know that they might be interested in being a poop donor, because we could always use more.
More studies will be done involving earlier stage kidney cancer, as well as lung, skin, and pancreatic cancers. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
After the break, it's one of sport's highest honors, symbolizing our pride and strength. Team Canada's opening ceremony flag bearers have been named for next week's Winter Olympics.
Amazon has announced it is laying off 16,000 employees. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more and the rest of your business headlines.
This is the second round of layoffs for the company in about 3 months. Amazon says it's removing bureaucracy, but did not share which divisions are affected. The big tech firm had warned employees last year that AI and automation would mean a smaller workforce. The announcement of 16,000 jobs being lost follows the layoff of 14,000 employees in October. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, reported earnings today that beat expectations. It reported revenue of close to $59 billion U.S. That's up 24% from the same quarter last year. AI is helping Meta better target social media users, but there are still concerns about how much it is investing in the AI build-out. Expenses are up 40% year over year. Microsoft also investing heavily in the AI race. It reported spending $37.5 billion U.S. on capital expenditures. That's up 66% over the same quarter last year. Investors are still worried about return on investment, and that sent shares down in after-hours trading. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar up a fraction to 73.76. West Texas Intermediate up to 63.21. Western Canadian Select up over $2 to 47.07. And the TSX gained 79 points for a new record close of 33,176. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Contract talks have begun for Air Canada's nearly 6,000 customer service agents who work at airports and call centers. The union insists the workers deserve improved wages, predictable schedules, and better working conditions. The airline says it wants a negotiated agreement that recognizes the important contributions of the employees.
Federal cybersecurity officials warn the ransomware threat continues to increase and evolve quickly. Some criminals are using sophisticated tactics, including artificial intelligence, to make it easier to target victims. Numerous Canadian businesses, hospitals, universities, and other organizations have had their data held in exchange for payment in recent years.
The social media giant that owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp is being sued in the U.S.
Meta is accused of creating addicted children, while the tech company is being courted by Ottawa to reinstate news on its platforms. CTV senior political correspondent Mike Lecoutel.
Like many local newspaper editors in Canada, Charlie Senak's job got a lot harder when Meta stopped allowing news on platforms like Facebook and Instagram.
I hear it from our readers, too, who are incredibly frustrated that they can't find us on Facebook. It was a very quick and easy way for them to go and get their content that they want.
The Online News Act and Online Streaming Act have been called irritants by the Trump administration in trade discussions. Both laws compel U.S. tech giants to financially support Canadian TV, film, and music sectors. Instead of paying Canadian media companies for carrying their content, all Meta platforms blocked Canadian news on sites like Facebook and Instagram in 2023. Now, Meta wouldn't provide a comment about renewed talks, but did point to these comments in October.
News publishers place their content on our platforms because they get increased distribution, and then they can monetize the clicks that they receive as a result of that distribution.
Kern added that Meta was hopeful news could return to their platform, The Identity and Culture Minister says talks are preliminary.
Canada's door has always been open to have those discussions. We stand by the value of the two acts that make sure that platforms are doing their jobs and making sure people are getting fair dealings.
But even that is welcome news for CNAC.
If this does happen and we can post on Meta again, I think we'll be at a point where we can really start growing in even more ways than we already have, and with the added advantage of all the work that we've already put into it.
Last year, the Canadian government removed the digital services tax just to restart talks with the U.S. But it's unclear how far it's willing to bend with the online news and streaming acts. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Toronto Raptors are back on home court tonight after a successful Western road trip.
Drive, kick, swing. Ingram, there's quick shot, and it's good.
The Raptors beat Oklahoma City on Sunday, their fourth win in 5 games away from Scotiabank Arena. Tonight, they hope to keep that going when New York comes to town. The third-place Knicks have won 3 in a row.
Another 2-on-1 here. Nurse short side scores! The Nurse is in the house!
The Toronto Scepters are also back in action tonight after losing their last game 5-0 to Vancouver on Thursday. They're in Montreal tonight to take on the Victoire. After that, Toronto won't play again until February 27th because of the Olympic break.
Well, it is the honor of a lifetime carrying Canada's flag at the world's biggest sporting spectacle. And today, 2 of the country's best found out they will be leading our Olympic team at the Milano Cortina Games next week.
You have been selected as the flag bearer for the 2026 Milano Cortina Games.
Wow, my hands are like shaking.
So exciting.
It's super cool.
Thank you. Are you shocked right now?
I mean, yeah, I got chosen is really kind of unbelievable, but very special, and I hope that I can kind of lead the team in well and do a good job.
Mogul skier Michael Kingsbury will co-carry the Maple Leaf with ski cross racer Marielle Thompson at the opening ceremony on February 6th. Thompson is from Whistler, BC. She had an impressive career, winning gold in 2014 and silver in 2022. Kingsbury is a 3-time Olympic medalist, winning gold in 2018 and silver in both 2014 and 2022. The Quebec native was the first male mogul skier to win 3 medals. To soccer, and the World Cup trophy is coming to Toronto. It will be here May 25th and 26th, the final stop on a cross-Canada tour. The trophy will also go to Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Montreal, Halifax, and Ottawa. An international 75-stop tour kicked off January 3rd. Fans who want to see the 18-carat solid gold trophy in person can register on sponsor Coca-Cola's website starting tomorrow morning for a chance to get a free ticket. Meantime, FIFA is introducing a program to bring the World Cup experience to Canadian communities not hosting any games. This event will be showcased in 40 places from coast to coast starting June 11th. Called Canada Celebrates, it features events such as watching World Cup matches, soccer-themed activities, as well as music and food.
Just ahead, you could call them soul sisters, and their friendship goes the distance. After the break, we meet up with the group of women known as the Malvern Mall Walkers, racking up steps and memories for decades now. Finally tonight, it started as a hobby and a way to stay healthy.
But for this group of mall walkers in Malvern, it's turned into a connection that goes far beyond the walls of the mall. CTV's Corey Baird reports.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a wide world. It's 9 a.m. And this group of grandmas has burned more calories than most of us will in a week.
Look it out!
Meet the Malvern Mall Walkers. 3 times a week, they turn this food court into a fitness studio. 2 decades and counting, still pushing their limits.
Everybody's so upbeat. Everybody's happy to come out.
It's just a unique group of people, and we gel.
If you want to have an improved quality of life as you age, you have to stay active. That's a no-brainer. And this group, well, they've got it figured out. But it's what they're doing outside of these sessions that speaks to a quality of a whole different kind. They've traveled together from Sault Ste. Marie to Niagara Falls
and a few casinos along the way too, supporting one another through life's highs and life's lows.
This is my eye that was done last Wednesday.
They've been to funerals, too many to count, always together in uniform, a mall walker's honor guard.
We always call each other to find out, are you okay? Do you need anything?
Time doesn't slow down, so why should they? Many here are well into their 80s, and it's no stretch to say these workouts have improved their longevity.
I'm a diabetic for 41 years, and now I'm a pre-diabetic.
And then there's Zelda Drummond.
2010, I had a stroke. I just tried to keep myself moving.
Not just trying, succeeding. Here there's no fear of failure. Showing up, that's the victory.
If you can be carefree, even for a few minutes, that's a elixir of life.
Corey Baird, CTV News, Scarborough.
And the great thing is they're indoors, right? So
Shout out to
no
the mall
excuses.
walkers. I love that they have kept this up. And yeah, what a great reminder. Because some people might say, I'm not walking, it's way too cold. Head to the mall, maybe you can see the walkers.
Honestly, a group like that is fantastic because the sidewalk's a little uneven right now. I know the city's doing their best, but it is so cold outside. So something like that is a great idea to escape the cold, but still get your steps in. And speaking of escaping the cold, tomorrow you're not going to want to be outside if you can help it. Still dealing with some lake effect snow through Owen Sound, Perry Sound, and Barrie, so keep that in mind. Be careful. It is chilly. We're at -11 right now, -17 with that wind chill. And as we head in towards the end of the week, it only gets colder. But I promise there is good news. We just have to get to Sunday first and welcome in a brand new month. But tomorrow night, chilly.
Okay, we've been warned. Thank you, Jess. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zarata Allman, who has your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all of us, have a great night.